Hey everyone, thanks Elon and thanks Lily for organizing. It's really excited to be at this conference. It's quite a unique format, and I've been listening in for the first intro session, and it was very fascinating. If you know me, I like to play around with AR filters. Right now, you could kind of use all sorts of different ones using Snap Camera on your computer. So in light of this conversation, I'll switch it back to some digital glasses since we're talking about digital fashion. And I will share my screen, so give me 1 second. These are cool shades. I could flick my eyebrows and put them on, put them off. 1 second here. Can't tell if you guys see my screen. I think you do. Elon, do you know if you see?
You're good. You're good.
Okay, cool.
You're good.
All right. Well, hi everyone. My name is Benny, founding team member of Dapper Labs. I focus a lot on the product side. If you know us, we are most known for CryptoKitties, which is the world's first blockchain game. It's kind of like Tamagotchi or Neopets, but on the blockchain, and you have these cute, adorable kitties that you breed together to unlock new genetics. So we built that game in late 2017, and then moving forward from 2017, we worked on Dapper Wallet, which is a crypto wallet. We worked on Cheese Wizards, which is another blockchain game. It's essentially a battle royale blockchain game. And if you think about Fortnite, where there could only be one winner per round or tournament, that's essentially what we built, but it's all on the blockchain and smart contracts, and you compete, and the one winner took home more than $100,000. So it was really interesting experiment, and we learned a lot from it. And most recently, we've been working with the NBA. We've gotten exclusive license to some highlight footage, and so we're working on a blockchain experience that is for mainstream consumers. So I know that not everyone here is in the blockchain space. There's a lot of different artists and technologists. NBA Top Shot is meant to be more mainstream, and it's the best way for you to collect a specific moment. For example, right now, The Last Dance is a big docu-series on Netflix. Imagine that you could collect that last dunk or the last hoop that Michael Jordan did in that photo in the exact moment, and be able to own it. And as a team, as a company, we've been working on Flow, which is our own blockchain that will be public. So here's my information. Feel free to screenshot it. Send me an email if you have any questions. I know that time is pretty tight, so I have to zoom through these slides fairly quickly. Today, I'm going to be talking about digital theme park platforms, and specifically digital fashion. But before I get into that, I want to, help provide some visual representation of how we as a company, and even myself, see the different layers that stack up. And that, we have the physical world that we're all in, but, we're using Crowdcast and all sorts of different technology to build this digital world. And some people, the digital world could represent like a metaverse, right? It could be Fortnite, it could be a game, it could be World of Warcraft, and that's the specific area that I'd like to focus on today. So some people say, like, what is the metaverse? How do I see the metaverse? Well, there's a lot of examples right now of using your own, your everyday device. The new iPhone 12 is going to have a LiDAR sensor where you could actually scan your room and eventually place 3D furniture in your house. Most cameras will probably come out, or new phones that will come out will have that as standard in the next few years. So AR technology will become increasingly more mainstream and more accessible. And there's already some examples of like, what can this look like, right? What is the imagination of using a digital medium and overlaying it over your physical world? I just find it so fascinating to see the limit that some of these tech has been pushed. This one is one of my favorites. It's from Snapchat, where they can place lava floor on your actual floor, and you know, as with any kid, if you've jumped around all your couches to avoid the floor, this is super nostalgic and it looks awesome, right? But today we're gonna, you know, talk about digital fashion. Here are some of the people on Instagram that I've been following and really enjoy their posts. But moving beyond like visual effects and face filters, right, which we're all familiar with, we start to ask the question of, you know, when we start to move the camera away from face and selfies and augmenting that, where you start to take a photo of your body, what does it mean to overlay digital clothing on your body? What does it mean to put, like the top one from Romain, put a waterfall dress on your body, right? Things that you wouldn't physically be able to create in the real world. And I think that there's a ton of people around the world who are starting to think about this as the tools are becoming more accessible. And this is something that we did last May in New York. I worked with a company called The Fabricant, based in Amsterdam. They are a digital fashion house. They only make digital clothing. And so I worked with him to design a digital dress, which you see here. And on the top left of your screen, we worked with Joanna. She was the creator of one of the most famous Instagram filters called Beauty 3000. And she recently just created a AR filter for Lady Gaga, which is really impressive. She's worked with many other brands and celebrities. And so she's the one modeling it on the top left, but this entire dress that you see here is digital. It does not exist. It does exist on the blockchain. We've tokenized it, and we sold it for nearly $10,000, and you know, had a coverage around the world. So that's what we did in terms of exploring this medium. What does it mean? And I really do think that the future of fashion could be virtual or digital. There's a ton of people in this space who are imagining, you know, reimagining tools that are going to be available, reimagining the, you know, the movement away from, you know, fashion cities that are like Milan, London, UK, Paris, where, you know, that's where you have to go to be part of fashion. If you're not there, if you're in a small town in the US, or if you are in somewhere in Pakistan, you cannot be in fashion. And I think that digital or virtual fashion will bring accessibility to everybody, and anyone could be a digital fashion designer because they could distribute their designs on Instagram or any other new platform that may pop up. And I wanted to show you a tool because, you know, maybe having some questions like, well, this is really cool, but how is it created? Well, I won't be able to jump into the whole like how do you do this, but the Fabricant did a great session. I think you could find it on YouTube, where they're talking about how they're designing the clothing, and they're using a software called Cloud 3D. There's also Marvelous Designer, where you could design clothing and drape it over a digital mannequin, and you could do a lot of amazing things. Think about this as Photoshop. And, you know, if we look back at the early days, like maybe 10, 15 years ago, Photoshop, all the young kids were cracking it or finding some way to get access to it and making graphic designs for their, you know, MySpace page. And I think that this will be a similar thing where people will be creating digital fashion design and experimenting and getting their designs out there. And so what does it look like? Well, this is in the middle is the actual photo of Joanna on the rooftop in Brooklyn, I believe. And we had to send her a bodysuit to wear. And essentially that was the photo that we took. And then on the right there, that was the digital fabric, which actually has a CryptoKitty. It's all blurred up, but that's an actual CryptoKitty in the fabric. And that was overlaid on top of her. And as I said before, I think that digital fashion is going to give global access to anyone around the world to create, the things that they see that make sense to them, whether you're in Russia or anywhere. I think it's going to be so amazing to see what fashion could look like from all of these different perspectives. And this is one of my new favorite person I've been following. Her name is Regina. She's from Russia, and you can see some of her designs here that are fully digital, and they just look amazing, right? And maybe she didn't have access to working at a fashion house or fashion school that costs a lot of money, but certainly she is showing off all of her designs and wearing it. So all of that to say is that I think that if we step back a little bit, I think the blockchain, which we're in, that's the industry we're in. When we build crypto collectibles like CryptoKitties, or we build these digital economies, I think it's so important for digital fashion to be on the blockchain. The blockchain gives access to a global audience, and I think the metadata, like the fabrics, the details, it will allow it to be sold. The best way to think about this is, well, you have in-app items like the stuff you would find in World of Warcraft or Fortnite that is controlled by a central company, and then you have physical goods like a bike or an actual shirt, right? And they have pros and cons you could see in that visual, but NFTs or non-fungible tokens, what we would create that dress to be in, has many great pros, like digital, true ownership, verified scarcity. And the last thing I would say is, the next generation of digital fashion designers is already here. There's a huge Facebook group called Animal Crossing Designers with nearly 59,000 people around the world, and we all know how big Animal Crossing is. And these are aspiring people who are playing with pixels and making digital clothing that is based on designers or based on their imagination. And same with Roblox and Minecraft. You already have the next generation of creators, and I think it's a matter of time and tools for them to come up and build something or design something. So thank you so much for being part of the talk. Again, here's my information. If you ever want to talk about metaverse or digital clothing or blockchain games, happy to dive into it.